Welcome to another Roman Roads breaking news. That's not broken. It broke earlier. Update in Guatemala.
This past Sunday, on June the 3rd, 2018, there was another volcano that erupted in Guatemala.
Yes.
Called the Volcán de Fuego, or Fire Volcano. There have been reported 100 people who have died in the volcano. There's also 190 people missing, as of the information that I read. Unfortunately, this volcano erupted very quickly, and there wasn't a lot of time for people to evacuate. And that's one thing that officials are talking about in Guatemala. They're saying that the system in place to alert people of volcano eruption, volcano action, that the announcement went out too late for people to evacuate. That allows small villages, and there was one village.
I saw footage of it. It's terrible.
El Rodeo. A lot of people in that. The village basically got destroyed.
It reminded me of the September 11th. Whenever people coming out of the ash clouds in shock.
Yes, and this has been the biggest volcano eruption since 1974 in Guatemala. And it's displaced over 3,000 people. Mm-hmm. You know, people are still evacuating. There's, they've already had funerals for some of the people who have died, but it's still erupting. There's still lava flow. Yeah. And there's releasing a lot of, gases and toxins and ash in the air. Yeah. So it's still a very dangerous place to be. And a lot of the people going in to help, send help, they're having a lot of trouble getting to the villages and getting to the people.
They're pretty isolated, aren't they? Yes. They're in the mountains already. Yes. And I'm gonna ask a question that I know you cannot answer right now because I don't believe scientifically we have an answer yet. But it really feels like we're in the midst of some sort of volcano season. What's going on in Hawaii, the India, the Scandinavian countries, and just in general, earthquakes too seem to be on the rise. I know there's a lot of thoughts and theories on that. Something about where we are around the sun, just the general seasons of the earth. And I've heard things about fracking, but it just seems like, I know we don't know. There's no definite answer. We're still studying geology, and we can't predict earthquakes and volcanoes the same way we can the weather. So all you can really do is hope for the best and, try and, if you want to donate money to these, to people helping them out, look for organizations, established ones that you've heard of, maybe the Red Cross, Shriners, any older organization, and that were helping them directly, because you might feel the temptation to send directly to a GoFundMe or something like that. But what that does is it takes money away from people who are organizing to help everybody out at once. Yeah. So if you know somebody personally, then go ahead. But I would highly recommend you find an established organization that has experience in giving these people help. In not necessarily lighter news, but in further news, I heard our breakfast place might be getting a little switcheroony. Not Waffle House, not Denny's, not any place good, but
this last week, IHOP, the International House of Pancakes, declared that they're going to change their name to IHOB, IHOB.
Oh, what could that stand for?
They haven't released that information yet, so people are wondering online. On Twitter, there was some tweets saying that International House of Breakfast is the number one.
That was my number one.
And that was the one you said.
Right off the bat without any hints.
International House of Bacon. International House of Bromance. Or the International House of Bad Decisions.
That one works.
Which might be the case. We'll see. I just saw a commercial actually before we started recording.
I saw that.
That had IHOP and they switched it to the B.
I thought they were doing that for some sort of a temporary thing, like whenever they change their flag to pink or something for cancer awareness.
I thought maybe that'd be the case. We'll see. IHOB will announce more information soon.
IHOB sounds dumb. It sounds like shim or some hardware equipment. And also that place has sticky air. Your syrups are delicious. You charge too much for orange juice and you have sticky air. Love the waitresses though. Continue. Moving on to outer space. Life discovered is the title on most of the headlines of this. That is not the case. What happens is that they discovered in a billion-year-old waterbed, dry lake bed, I should say, and I think it's actually 100 billion years. But I digress. They found carbon molecules in there, which are not living organic matter, but those are the building blocks considered very important for organic matter.
Everything alive on Earth has carbon.
Indeed. Right? Now, around the time that this bed would have been active, they believe that is the time that Mars was wet and temperate, not irradiated, still probably had some atmosphere. And this is very exciting. But the thing is, they found this, maybe even more exciting is the drill on this particular, I think it was, I don't remember. One of them, it can only dig down. I have it here at 5 centimeters, I believe it is. Yeah, 5 centimeters on the shore. That's as far down as it can go.
Okay.
Now, the thing is that because there is no or very light atmosphere on Mars, it's constantly bombarded by radiation, which sort of strips everything. They'd like to dig down deeper where there's hopefully or possibly actual organic life, reproducing cells, and maybe some complex microbial life. And in 2021 is the arrival date for the European ExoMars mission to land.
Cool.
And that will have a 2-meter drill on it, which should really get down. 2 meters is about, what was it? 3 point something. It's big.
Yeah.
It's about as tall as me. So going deep down in there, being able to dig up, see if we got some good dirts in there. Also, it's another. It was under the title of possible life in there. It was 2 stories. They also discovered that there is a seasonal methane increase and decrease on Mars, which seems unusual. You think it'd be about static and maybe a general trend one way or the other, but not sort of going up and down.
Yeah.
There's 2 possible explanations for this.
What are the explanations?
One is that it's water reacting with volcanic rock, and that during the summer months, whenever the planet is closer to the sun, that begins to heat up, thus generating methane for blah, 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 whatever reasons. The other theory is that it's possible there's organic life in there that during the summer months get more energy from the sun, become more active, and start respirating, and that they're actually breathing out the methane. Now, because we cannot dig that deep in there, as said earlier, we can only go down about 7 centimeters or 5 centimeters. We won't know until we can dig deeper, and there's no real way to prove one theory or the other until we get down there and start digging around.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty intriguing. It's interesting stuff to look forward. Not just around the corner, about 2-3 years.
So we'll have some more information. So finally, when we get to live on Mars, we'll know more about the environment.
Maybe Mars will get to live on us. Dun dun dun.
Moving on. You've heard of David Copperfield, right? The magician?
I've heard many things of him. Made the Statue of Liberty disappear, famously. Nobody cared.
There was ongoing lawsuit on him because in 2013, at a show he did in Las Vegas, they did a trick where they pulled 13 members from the audience onto the stage, sat them in this like box, and then covered the whole box up with a
cover.
And the trick is David Copperfield made the 13 participants disappear and reappear at the back of the auditorium.
Oh. Is this one, did they turn into lions?
No.
Oh, those are other guys, right?
That was Siegfried and Roy.
Siegfried,
were they magicians or they just like...
cat enthusiasts?
Yes.
I'm going to say they were magicians as well. Continue.
Unfortunately, on one night in 2013, during one of these shows, one man, his name was Gavin Cox. He was from Britain, Great Britain. He was attending the show. He was one of the 13 participants picked. He suffered an injury and suffered some brain damage. Well, that's the thing. After this show, I think it was a few months after, he had an incident during the show, received medical attention there, went to the hospital, had brain damage. So then he sued. Well, here's the thing. He sued Copperfield. He sued the hotel. Wow. And he sued, I think, Copperfield's management and a couple other people.
The show works with the hotel, with the casino, right?
Yes.
It's a casino
the MGM
hotel.
Grand.
Yeah.
So during the court case, he was saying that Copperfield and these people were responsible for his slip and fall and receiving brain damage. During the preceding court case, they had to reveal how this trick was pulled off.
So they summoned Beelzebub.
Well, basically, all it is that they move the people from the stage through like a tunnel.
I figured, what else could it be unless you get the dark one there?
And in the back and forth, some of the stagehands were guiding the people from the stage. The man slipped and fell and had a nasty fall, received damage.
To his brain?
Yes, unfortunately. It's a very sad story. However, this past week, in the lawsuit, Copperfield was not found responsible.
Oh.
He was found negligent.
No.
But he was not found financially responsible for this, so he is not needed to pay the man.
So I'm assuming the MGM Grand will then?
Well, the thing is that they found that Gavin Cox was...
intoxicated?
No, they found Cox was 100% responsible for his injuries.
What?
I guess I didn't find any further details.
Follow
I don't
instructions,
know if
perhaps
something, or maybe his willingness to participate in the thing. I'm not quite sure. The jury found him not responsible, so therefore, if he's not responsible, he cannot ask for monetary damages.
Man, what do you mean? If he was responsible for it, he was.
If they found that Copperfield and the management and the hotel were responsible for his injuries, I think they're responsible for being negligent.
Yeah,
but the responsibility of his injuries are all on the
I really would like to know more about this because MGM Grand, the casino, is a huge corporate entity, and so is David Copperfield. I know that they could put a lot of money behind a court case, and just really seems like might get wiggle room that they don't need or deserve. Now, on the other hand, I could see if maybe he was given specific instructions that maybe he didn't follow directly. I could see where it might be negligence that they didn't enforce it, but I could still see how it would be his fault.
Yes.
However, 100%, this could be just one of those cases where the law is written to be lawful but not moral. That this is like the law was followed to the letter. I think so. That a lot of that happens. Doesn't mean it's good.
I know that Copperfield was very sorry to hear about this, and I think he heard about the man's injuries way later after the show. He didn't hear right after, and he was very sorry to hear that. I'm sure he said sent an apology to the man, and he followed through like that. But I mean, they find him not responsible, so he doesn't have to pay anything. So I mean, we'll see what happens. No. Maybe there's an appeal or something.
Quick question, probably stupid. MGM Grand, the casino, not related to the other cinematic entity, is it?
Yes, it's the same company.
It is? Are you for real?
Yeah, they own
Dude, I seriously thought it was a stupid question. I swear I've thought of it before, and I was like, gonna look it up, but I was like, Google's gonna laugh at me. That is crazy. That is for real cool. I don't know why. It seems obvious to me, but it felt too obvious. That's awesome. I wonder if there's like other studios that do casino stuff. I feel like it's all entertainment, right?
Yeah, it's all
Maybe
entertainment.
I could see that fitting in there. Does because I know Playboy, Trump had a casino. Is there like a Disney casino, Universal
I don't
casino?
think Disney would have casinos.
I feel like they would.
Well,
no, because they have different branches that do like horror movies, and they support like black metal bands and stuff. So I would be interested in knowing about this. Yeah. There's a whole thing about that. There's like this real crazy. He was like known on the scene as being like way too hardcore, did way too many drugs, partied too hard, and he was like owned by a company that was owned by Disney. Oh man, I would go to a Disney casino. Like not even to gamble, but for like the rides and I guess they got their.
I don't think they have rides. I think it'll be about the gambling.
They could just start gambling at like their own places. Genius.
You know what? The Canto Bight Casino. Oh. Coming summer 2021.
I'd go there. Moving on. Now, I recently got a new ID. Whenever I was signing up for it,
yes,
they ask you, would you like to donate to such and such? Would you like to be registered to vote? Would you like to be a donor? The question to all of them for me is always yes,
donor, right?
But I do not have the time to sign up. I just when I'm at the DMV, I just want to go, but I always make an effort to sign up to be an organ donor.
Yes, I believe I'm also an organ donor.
I would like, and you can check on your card if you're not certain in the state of Texas. Look on your ID. It's usually in the bottom right-hand corner if you're over 21, and I don't know where it is if you're 17. You might even be able to do that if you're 17, but there's can. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, look for a little red heart shape, and it'll say donor on there, and that means that in the unfortunate events that should you pass and they find your ID, they will...
In an accident and you're healthy, right?
Or an assassination, maybe. I think it has to be an accident. They're pretty confident that you're dying.
Not disease.
Yeah, and disease-free, depending on what has the disease. Well, either way, it depends 1,000,000% on the circumstances that you're found in and who is in need of your organs. They will preserve your body for as long as they can until they can get people who are on donor lists to you, and you could save up to 15 lives. And that's just life-saving. Your skin and other tissues could also be used to, help people who've gotten other injuries. And it's a really good thing. They could do research on them. And that might not sound good to you, but it's like that's how we learn to cure things. And it's one of the few good things I think you could do with just the least amount of effort. I do think you should vote. I do think you should donate to charities. It's just I really don't like being at the DMV, even though they have really improved overall. It is a lot easier to get through there.
I haven't been in a while. I've gotten all my renewal online the past couple times that I needed to do it. I need to go at the end of the year. I will go to the MD.
I had reasons for going sooner. But as I digress, in other countries, they have started a thing called opt-out, where they presume you to be an organ donor. And recently, Iceland, the land of not ice, actually, is proposed in 2012. that everybody be a default organ donor, and it wasn't ratified or solidified, whatever their terminology for saying this is a law now, until this week.
Okay.
And they already did this in the Netherlands and Australia, and Israel also tried passing a similar law, but I believe they changed it back to an opt-out. But they're trying to do a lot of incentives to make more people become organ donors. Japan and a few other Asian countries I believe are also trying to do opt-out. The thing is, in those cultures, it's very important to keep the body intact, so it's really hard to get people to become organ donors.
Oh, really?
I think it's a really important thing,
okay.
but the people talk about it being like your free will or something, but all of these places that have you the default organ donor, you can opt out of them. It's just like instead of checking a box saying I do want to be an organ donor, you check a box that says I don't.
Not.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like that's freedom. It's like they're just saying I'm gonna assume you want this, and you can say I don't. You have the freedom to say that. It's easy.
I myself don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, if you're gonna have to,
I think
that seems much easier to opt out.
Especially because most people wouldn't care. Like, so my people, the fact that I had to re-sign up for it was a little discouraging. That makes me wonder if my license expires, will they not take my guts to save life?
That would make sense because they would go off the information on your identification.
Terrible. Because I've seen. I was going through a bunch of red tape recently, and just because my ID was expired, they were no longer accepting it. Yeah. So if that could mean that people could die just because I didn't have an up-to-date driver's license, that's horrible.
I would be all for it, for the opt-out kind of situation.
Yeah, I think
we should go to that. Let us know what you think about that, if you would be okay with it. Viewers, comment below.
Even then, they'd still ask you. They would still want to know, like, if your loved one died, they would still probably say, "Do you want?" We're assuming that they wanted this, but you could still object to it. It's still a lot of ways if you're 100% against it for whatever reason, that you could say no. So I think it's the right thing. A slight little addendum connected to this. There's recently been a thing about people who have "Do Not Resuscitate" tattooed to them, and they've chosen to ignore them for the most part. And it turned out that it was like some guy got a tattoo because of his friends were idiots, and they're like, legally, can we not do this? From what I understand, is like if it's not like notarized and whatever, it doesn't mean anything.
Don't get stupid tattoos.
Don't get stupid tattoos like that deal with your life, idiot. If you got kind of friends that are asking you to do that kind of bet, you get new friends because you don't got any old ones.
That's all the news we had for this week. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about the volcano that happened in Guatemala. If you have any information that you want to share with us, if your reaction to the whole IHOP thing about life on Mars, what do you think about that? What do you think about the lawsuit of David Copperfield and about the opt-outs, organ donors? Let us know what you think. Comment down below. Like and share. Subscribe to our channel if you want more information.
Ring that bell.
Yes. Anything else?
Oh, yes. Also, share and like our videos, even if you don't like them.
I just said
like them. I'm reiterating it. You do it. Help us out. Come on, guys. Be cool. Say your names. Leave a comment. Peer pressure. Peer pressure.